Hello, amazing ladies, and welcome to the HerStory podcast. I am your host, Kylie King, the founder of Australian Ladies in Business Initiative. And today I'm so excited to be joined by the incredible Donna Wallace, who is an energy and an emotional practitioner with her business, Donna Wallace, and also the founder of the House of Orion. I am so happy for you to be here today.
I'm thrilled to be here. Thanks for having me, Kylie.
No worries. So let's kick it off with the listeners. Who are you and what do you do?
This is quite, out there and spiritual and esoteric, but really I've come to understand that my mission is to help people switch on their lights. And I do that in a couple of different ways. So how do you become the most radiant version of yourself, the most authentic version of yourself? And I do that through my energy and emotional healing work. And then I do that through my jewellery business, the House of Orion, that you've already mentioned, which is a custom jewellery business that energetically activates you. So that's the work that I do in the world. I also live on the Mornington Peninsula outside of Melbourne. Got 2 kids, a husband, a dog, all the things, and juggling the whole gamut of life. Yeah.
Beautiful. So, with your energy and emotional practitioner work, let's start there. So, what does that involve? Maybe for people that aren't so esoteric or, that label they use of woo woo, what does that sort of mean for people? Like, if I was to come to you, how could you assist me?
Well, it's really dependent on you. So I customize everything to the people that come to me. So people come to me with usually an array of, okay, take your pick off this buffet, Kylie. I'm not happy in my life, or I'm getting really emotional and I can't deal with that level of emotion that's coming up for me, or I feel really disconnected emotionally, or I've experienced big things in my life and now all of a sudden they've come up to bite me in the bum and I don't know what to do with them. Or a lot of people come to me when they're at a transition, a crossroads in their life. They know that they want something more than what they have. They have a level of feeling unfulfilled, and they kind of have this sense like there's more to life, don't know what that is, and don't know how to get there. But all I know is I don't want this to be like my next 40 years, midlife crisis kind of stuff. So, yeah, that's why people come to me. And I teach people basically how to regulate emotionally, how to process emotions, but how to unlock who they really are through their emotional selves. And that is kind of, for some people, scary, because we're so used to being up in our heads, we're so used to being intellectual and rational and, making all the inverted commas smart decisions from our head space. And I really teach people to drop into their hearts and their bodies so they can follow their intuition and allow that intuition to open up and live much more, grounded, heart-centered life.
Wait, are you telling me it's okay to feel emotions and not just like shove them down and like more than put some concrete on top of them?
Right? Or sweep them under the carpet, or just look the other way and pretend, la, 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 nothing to see here.
Yes.
Yes. I'm saying it's absolutely okay to feel your emotions. I'm saying it's absolutely okay to be an emotional, sensitive person. And in fact, they're my favorite kind of people, to be honest. There are so many gifts that come along with people who are sensitive and emotional. And I think that most people in the community kind of feel like, shouldn't be like that, or if you are one of those people, like you feel like you shouldn't be like that for some reason. But actually there are so many gifts that are connected to emotional, sensitive beings or bods or souls, and it's about how do you learn to understand yourself in that way, which opens up who you really are. It helps you get to like that, the heart of you, in more ways than one.
Beautiful. So
Yes.
how does it sort of connect with the House of Orion, or you work it together? How does the House of Orion
Yeah.
come into it?
So I do have some people that come to me for both, and they're like, I know I want to do the healing work, Donna, and I also know I want to ring as well. And I'm like, okay, we can do both. It's pretty much choose your own adventure with me. Remember those books? The
Yes.
choose your own adventure books? They were the best. Um, So yeah, with the jewelry is a little bit different. The jewelry really basically it reprograms you to basically embody the highest aspect of yourself. So what does that mean? It means that I choose colored gemstones that match the essence of who you really are. And those colored gemstones are energetically attuned and activated or programmed to bring that out in you. So you wear this piece of jewelry and it helps you blossom into who you really are. So it's a really beautiful way of healing without having to of becoming that fullest version of yourself, without doing that kind of, I don't know, the other kind of healing work.
The hard stuff. Like
the hard
the
stuff.
hard stuff.
The stuff that people think is hard, yeah? Yeah. But it's actually a really beautiful gift we give ourselves. Yeah.
So it's a nice sort of, I guess, like a token of something to talk, like starting your healing journey, where it's sort of starting and then will help ease you into the tougher stuff that people don't want to do.
What do you mean by that, Kylie? Say that again.
So if I got a ring, so the ring would be like, it's about the start of the healing journey, as you mentioned. So like something, that will sort of, it's doing the healing work, I guess. Or as you said, it's promoting me to then like do the healing work. So then I can psych myself up for the harder stuff.
Actually, no. Some people just get a ring and that's it. And that's what they need with me. And it's perfect. So basically, it's that ability to connect with the best, highest version of yourself. And some people just want the beautiful bling that helps them, like that they can look down on their finger and it's like, oh yeah, that's me embodied in this gorgeous ring. And I am like looking at it and reminding myself of that. And somehow magically it's helping me turn into that version of myself. Yeah. So some people will choose to do, both and do healing work with me as well. But it can often be the other way around. They might do the healing work first and then get a ring, or they might get a ring and then do the healing work. There's not really any order because this, again, is just about an individual journey. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So what made you start with the rings? Was it like a calling or something you noticed or?
The rings was a really interesting thing. I had this feeling like something wanted to come through in my healing business. And it was in the middle, I was just saying before we started our recording, Kylie, it was in the middle of COVID. So it was the start of 2021 around that time. And I had this feeling like something wanted to come through, and lo and behold, it was a whole nother business, not just an addition to, what I'd already been doing. And it really took me by surprise as it completely came through intuitively. And that's how I knew like it wasn't from me, because I would never have dreamed up like a jewelry business. I had no experience in jewelry aside from, normal day-to-day living. Maybe I've inherited a ring or been given an engagement ring or, token, not token, but, special pieces of jewelry. And yes, it all came through as this divinely downloaded idea.
Beautiful.
And I didn't think that they got it right. Like, I didn't think that spirit got it right. I'm like, are you sure that's meant for me? Because I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm the right person. I don't know anything about jewelry. And I was really quite scared about it and excited at the same time, and thought, what the heck, I'll give it a go and see what happens. And then have now subsequently brought it to life. And I just love it so much, Kylie. And I love working with people in that way. And I love the beautiful creations that we're making. And like every ring has a story. And I love it so much. I couldn't imagine. Yeah. When you look back in your life and you think 5 years ago, I never would have imagined to be where I am now.
Yes. I had a very similar conversation, because what I'm doing compared to what I was doing 5 years ago is very different now.
Yeah.
So I understand that.
So the twists and turns, that magical carpet ride of life.
And all about trusting, as you mentioned earlier, trusting your intuition and just going with it. And then, ending up on some amazing journey, completely different from where you started, but still just a beautiful journey. Like,
yeah, and deeply fulfilling in a way that I would never have anticipated or expected or could have even imagined. But I think that there's that, the real life behind the scenes is that I was completely freaked out and I didn't know if I could do it, and I was second guessing myself and really had to learn so much. It's been such a steep learning curve. And yet at the same time, when we get that intuition, our soul or the universe or whatever you want to call it, that higher intelligence is guiding us to something that is going to be really good for us as business owners, but also for all of the people that it's meant to serve.
So what would you say has been your biggest challenge so far?
Myself.
Fair enough.
And myself, and also learning marketing. That has been one of my biggest challenges, sales and marketing. And how do I share what I'm doing in a way that's not salesy and sleazy and that actually feels okay, that feels good for me, that feels like it has integrity? And I have started to find that sweet spot now. And that feels really good to me, that I have basically had to unlearn all the stuff that I learned about marketing. All the things that we learn along the way as entrepreneurs, and then needing to basically dismantle all of that, unprogram myself, and realize that sales and marketing is genuinely about sharing what I do. And it's here, this is what I do. And if you'd like to have a slice of this beautiful pie, come on in, and knowing that people will know whether they're meant to step in and work with me, or they'll know that they're not, and that's fine. But I don't have to do any kind of sleazy, salesy stuff to help to kind of convince people, or,
No, I do.
So
and I do.
real journey.
When you're on that journey and you've listened to your intuition and you're doing something that, serves a higher purpose and you're feeling really aligned to it, the right people come anyway. So the right people will just show up when it's time to work with you without having to go out there and constantly push marketing or constantly say, look at me, look at me. Like, the right people will come and you won't even expect it. Like, sometimes you'll be like, hey, I've got 2 weeks of bookings. Where did that come from? No idea. But it was just, they came to you at the right time.
It's so true, Kylie. It's so true. Yeah.
So what has been your biggest achievement so far?
My biggest achievement, I would say, two things. Starting up the House of Orion business in an industry that I knew nothing about. Like, I know all about energy, but didn't know anything about jewelry. So that was a huge achievement. And also my second big achievement is I've just hit 9 years in business for my energy healing work. Thank you. And that feels like, for this year, it just feels like a huge achievement, Kylie. I can't tell you how many times I've wanted to quit along the way. And, and even though I've got a beautiful business, there's, having, as running a business is like its own personal development journey, and you get challenged in every possible way. And it's fulfilling in a way that I've never had before either. But yeah, just the fact of being in business for 9 years, I'm celebrating that this year.
That's incredible, because a lot of small businesses don't last anywhere near that. So that's an incredible achievement.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah.
Awesome. So what motivates you to get up every morning and do what you do?
I love the people that I work with. They are so beautiful. I'm really, really lucky. Like you said, the right people find you, and the gorgeous, beautiful souls that I work with. Like, I just adore all of them, and they get me up. They get me up in the morning and make me want to show up even on the days where I don't want to play. We all have those days. But it's, the beautiful people. And I actually have this secret, maybe now not so secret, addiction to, I love seeing people have a glow up right in front of me. Like, I love witnessing people's energy expanding and the look on their face changing and their body relaxing when we have those moments of breakthroughs and transformations. Like, oh, Kylie, it just does it for me. So I've got this secret, not so secret addiction to watching the magnificence of that, of that happening in front of my eyes. I love that. I love seeing that happen for people.
That sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
So nice. If only you could capture that energy on like a camera for before and afters.
I've said these things so many times. Like, I wish people, because I'm really clairvoyant and I can see people's energy, and I can see like the magic of what's happening all around them and inside of them. I mean, if only someone could like hook up some electrodes to my brain and you get the feeling that I have at the same time, like it'd be like the best movie ever.
Would be. Except the electrode bits might be a bit unnerving for the clients to look at. But other than that, it's great.
I mean, if they could just see what I was seeing, that's all. Yeah, they don't need to see the electrode bits. That's weird.
Is there any advice you wish you were given when you kicked off your businesses?
I wish someone told me to stay more true to myself. Like, if something didn't feel quite right, even though you think it's the right thing to do because someone's telling you it's the right thing to do because that's what they did and it feels a bit off for you, don't do it. Like, don't bloody do it. Don't do that thing. Don't step outside of your integrity and what feels right for you. And just that, like, to really truly back yourself. Because I think, I started out in my business going, you know what, I'm just going to give it a red hot crack and see what happens, because I was so nervous. I didn't know if it was going to work or not. And had I known what I know now, I would have been like, oh gosh, you got nothing to worry about, Darls. Like, just go for it. And so those two things, like, be your own biggest cheerleader and always follow your intuition and what feels right for you.
I think that's really important, because there's a lot of businesses out there that sell their mode, their formula that works for them. And then these people go in there and they buy it. And I know I've been called out buying it, going, oh, well, it's going to make me $100,000 a year or whatever you're getting marketed to. It's going to help you with this and it's going to bring in all these amazing clients. And then sometimes it just doesn't work, or it feels yuck. So, and you don't want to do it. So you've invested this money in this process or this formula that if you're not really heart-centered into it, what's the point?
Right.
Because you're not doing it anyway. And you could have put that investment of time or money into something else that feels better aligned to you and what you're doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's a problem with the marketing in this entrepreneurial world sometimes, is that people market money. They market what they've earned, or they market how much money you could earn. And as soon as people see those dollar signs, that's what you think you're signing up to. You think you're signing up to earning the same amount of money as that person, or earning, $50,000 a month, or whatever it is. Actually, what they're selling is not that. What they're selling is a program or strategy, and that's what they're selling. But it's really easy to get caught up in the dollar signs, and that's the thing that you want, that you think you're buying, but you're not buying that. So
most of the time it's people that are saying come in and buy this, but they've only started earning that money because people are buying it. So not like, I've only ever had one person in the industry that has said, oh, I make 100,000, and I actually went and invested with her because she could prove there was receipts. She showed you PayPal like accounts and stuff. And I looked at it and went, okay, well, she's actually, and she aligns with what I'm doing. I'll invest in that. But it seems like everyone's marketing strategy at the moment is going, you can get this many clients and you can get this much money. But the issue is because at the moment with everything that's happening, we came out of COVID, we've got bushfires, floods, we're going into this cost of living crisis. It's really playing on the desperation of businesses, and businesses are going straight into it. And it's just like, but if it's not aligned to you, it's going to feel yuck, and your clients are going to know that it's not it's not authentic to you. It's not in integrity for you. So it's going to give them a bad vibe. So the potential customers you could have come in, or that say spirit or intuition sent to you, are going to feel a bit off because you're not in your truest self.
Exactly. And that's what we want. We want all of us to be unique individuals, doing our unique work in the world that is different. It's not a cookie cutter. It's not following this same carbon copy approach to everyone else. And Yeah, that's what I do with the jewelry, and also in my healing work is really support people in how to become that unique individual that we all are. And so whether that's in business or just, as people day to day in life, it's so important that we really are committed to that unique soul path, I think, because it's so easy to get caught up in all the riffraff out there.
Yeah. And as you mentioned, you're all about activating people's lights and stuff. So not all of us shine the same color. And we will meet people that are out there. And I know when I do my sessions, so when I'm not running Alibi, I do hypnosis and I do past life regression. I'm always told by those guys, we each have a different light to shine and we'll find the right people. So you will find the people that are going to help you succeed in your business. You just need to be patient and not fall for, I guess, yeah, as you said, all the riffraff, all the noise in the environment.
The noise, yes. And yeah, get caught up in that's what you think that you should do. No, drop into your heart space and follow your intuition and see what feels right for you. Yeah.
Yep.
Great. You're right. We all do shine different colors. I love that.
And listen to yourself, I think, is the most thing. Like, listen to how you feel. I feel like we're always taught to listen to everyone else and get everyone else's validation and opinion and all of that, which is how we've been taught. That's how we've been taught when we're growing up. But now it's time to go, okay, this is my business. And I chose to do it for whatever reason, here to serve others or to show off beautiful rings or whatever that purpose is that you're here for. Listen to yourself first and actually go, do I want to invest in that, or do I want to do that, or do I just want to keep doing what I'm doing? So I think that's an awesome advice. Thank you.
Yeah, I love that. And it is really about prioritizing your inner voice rather than prioritizing what everyone else is saying. And that is a whole journey in and of itself, especially if we've grown up as the people pleasers and the good girls, do you know? Because we are trained, quite literally trained to, listen to other people more than ourselves. So our businesses just take us, as I said before, on the greatest personal development journey of all time, don't they?
Mm-hmm. Yes, they do. So what's your ultimate goal for your businesses? Because you've got the two there. What are your ultimate goals for them?
For the House of Orion, my ultimate goal is to create the world's largest crystal grid using our jewellery. So no mean feat, but I have already got pieces of jewellery overseas, so in America and Spain and England and across Australia, of course. So that each piece of jewellery is part of a crystal grid that I've set up, and my customers come into a call with me every 6 months, and we do crystal grid work around the earth. It's pretty wild and I love it. So that's my vision with that. And interestingly, I don't really have a vision with my energy and emotional healing work. I am happy for it to grow in whatever way it wants to. And I just see people like lighting up like popcorn, popcorn popping, like the kernels of corn popping. Like I see people lighting up through, our connection and just around the world as I do the work that I do. So I'm not really attached to what that looks like. I'm just here for the ride and seeing, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen in 5 years. I could never have guessed I was here 5 years ago. So who knows where I'm going to be in another 5 years? I don't have a vision for that. I'm just going to go along for the ride.
Well, it's been going well for 9 years.
Yeah.
So just let it do its thing.
Let it do its thing. That's right.
Beautiful. So if you had advice for others in business, so say someone wants to get started in maybe energy and emotional work or just starting a business in general, what advice would you give them?
I would say particularly if it's around energy and emotional healing work, make sure you are doing the work yourself, that you've got enough of a foundation within yourself that you can work and facilitate sessions or however you're going to work with other people. It needs to be an embodied, experienced thing. Like you need to have some experience in it, and you need to have integrated a certain amount within yourself before you start doing it with other people. You're always going to be learning as you go, but there's a depth that you need to have gone through all the shit yourself, Kylie, and figured it out. to have that real level of compassion and empathy and understanding, and then also insight. And I think that really only comes from doing the work yourself.
100%. And to be honest, I don't want to work with anyone that hasn't been in the dirty trenches before me. So
Absolutely.
and they're shining their own light for me to follow is really like, I want someone who's just not like, oh, you know, I got my qualification or I'm doing whatever and I'm working in it. I want to know that they've seen the good, bad, and ugly side of maybe themselves or what they're going through. And then they've got that experience there. And I think that's truly important, especially in the beautiful work that you do. You know, people need to just not jump in. They actually need to do the work as it's an example. It's great content. It's great story. It's great marketing when we talk about marketing, because they can say, look, this happened to me and I'm here now.
Yeah.
And it's showing you what you can do for the clients. And I think that's something that's so important.
Yeah, agree. And you have to feel safe, like, because doing that sort of work is like bearing your soul to someone. You have to feel safe with that person. And so you'll know whether they're the right person or not for you.
Trusting that instinct and that intuition as soon as you meet them, and understanding that, you know, they may be a great person, but if it doesn't feel right, it's not right. And it could be they're not the right person. It's not the right time. It's so many different things.
Yeah.
But it also, as you mentioned, just touching in and talking, listening to your intuition about it, because we may want to do the work and it might just not be the right time.
And sometimes that's what it is. Sometimes, you know, I had someone who I spoke with over a year ago and she said, I know I want to do this work with you, Donna. And then I realized she said like she wasn't quite ready yet. And she's just contacted me again just recently, like in the last couple of weeks. And I'm like, great, you know, whenever you're ready is perfect, because it also means that I'll have had a whole nother year experience, and I'll, you know, who knows what that dance is between the two of us. But the timing is everything, and you know when you're ready. Even if you're scared about it, you still know.
Yeah. And if not, they'll just tap on you until, like spirit or that will just tap on you until you go. It reminds me of this. It reminds me, have you heard the saying about the feather, the brick and the truck?
Yeah. Yeah.
It reminds me of that saying quite often, that, you know, if you're not going to do the work, just you'll get the nudges. You'll get the nudge.
You absolutely will get the nudges until they're the truck. Yes. And I do a lot of family constellation therapy as well in my energy and emotional healing work. And people's family systems also give them the tap on their shoulder, like, actually, come on, like, and that's what happened to me. Like, Donna, tap, 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 it's time. Like, go and do that thing. You need to heal this stuff. So, yeah.
At least it was a gentle feather. It wasn't.
Yeah, we've all had a truck.
Not particularly. Hopefully you realize with the brick. So for those listeners who have no idea what we're talking about, they talk about the gentle nudges as like a nice feather that's, you know, slowly nudging you. Then we go to the brick, which is a bit of a harder thing to take to the face. And then, of course, if you ignore it, you know, generally a truck would come, which would mean something that would really sort of off-center you or take you on the path to go, look, open your eyes. What are you doing? This is where we want you to go.
Something that stops you in your tracks.
Yes. And at times maybe a bit painful, which we hope not, but maybe at times it might be. So with all the amazing work you do and being in business for 9 years and being an expert, what would be one tip that you would share with the listeners? Something, you know, like the taste test that they can then come and check you out.
How about I share with you how I make decisions?
Sounds great.
Using my intuition, because I think that this is something that I've done for years and it's just really easy and simple to do. So if you're thinking about going down path A or path B, say path A is, I don't know, moving house, and path B is staying in the same house that you're in, what I invite you to do is to just drop down and connect into your heart space and hold that first idea, path A being moving to a different house, hold that in your heart and just take a couple of breaths and see what happens, and see what happens to your breath, see what happens to your energy, how do you feel with path A, and then let that go, and then take on path B, or, you know, maybe it's staying in the same house, and take a deep breath, feel that option, and just see, like, what does that feel like? How does your breath feel? What happens with your energy? What happens with your emotions? And you'll get a very clear direction. What you're doing is you're tuning into the future path of each. And so it's just a really good way of allowing your body's intuition to speak to you, allowing your heart's intuition to speak to you, around, yeah, perhaps as business owners, which path are you taking, or what are you wanting to do? Like, it's a really great, quick, easy process to use to drop in.
Beautiful. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that.
Pleasure.
So how do we stalk you? Where do we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Donna Wallace Healer, and the House of Orion as well, on Instagram, and my website, which is donnawallace.com.au. You'll also find a link to my House of Orion website through there too.
Beautiful. So if we need any energy or emotional healing, or we just want some really nice bling, some
Like
nice
some soulful bling.
so we can
come
add to the crystal. If we want to add to the crystal grid, which is your big, hair and scary goal, we can go and check out the House of Orion stuff. And what, we just contact you and say, we want some sparkly rings, and then process.
The first step actually is a free 10-minute energy reading. So I will look at your aura, tell you what color you are, Kylie, which is what you said before, tell you all the different colors that are in your energy field and what they mean specifically for you. And then I'll tell you what color gemstone could be a perfect match to really enhance your energy and turn that light on. And then we go through a custom process from there.
Beautiful. That sounds exciting. Yeah. I'm going to be in touch. I want to add to the crystal grid.
I'd love that.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for the conversation, sharing everything. And I was really excited to hear about your journey and your business. So thank you.
Thanks so much for having me, Kylie.